Maria Montessori was responsible for the work and research that led to the publishing of a book called The Absorbent Mind in 1949. In this work, she presented what she called the 4 planes of development. Montessori observed 4 distinct periods of human development. From birth to age 6, from age 6 to 12, from age 12 to 18, and from age 18 to 24. Learning in each of these stages of development was different and called for a different educational approach for each. Her work formed the basis for modern education. Our minds are especially malleable from birth to age 6. Children have increased neuroplasticity when compared to adults. This means their minds soak up information and adapt more quickly to the world around them. Neuroplasticity is the ability of the brain to rewire itself. Various parts of our brain communicate with one another through neurons and the neural pathways they form. Neurons and synapses, the site of transmission of electric nerve signals between 2 neurons, can change over time. Unused synaptic connections can disappear and frequently used synaptic connections can become strengthened. Neurons can enhance their connections by releasing more neurotransmitters, binding to new neurons and thereby enhancing their connections, forming new neural pathways. This is how some stroke victims relearn activities that previously damaged areas of the brain controlled. Their brains literally rewire themselves so that new areas of the brain can control activities or movements previously lost. Think of the neural pathways in your brain as a hillside you are traveling over or climbing repeatedly. Eventually, you find pathways up the hill that are easier to climb and traverse. The more frequently you travel one pathway, the easier it becomes to traverse. Less frequently traveled pathways become harder to traverse because they are not used and grown over with weeds. The most well-worn pathway is always the easiest to travel on your hillside. In essence, this is neuroplasticity. Neuroplasticity is much greater in children. This is why learning certain things, like a new language, is much easier in childhood. Unsurprisingly, brain development influenced by abuse and neglect in early childhood is linked to behavior in adulthood. How we are raised, and especially being raised in chronic stress, can bring on epigenetic changes in our physiology. Epigenetics is the study of how your behaviors and environment can cause changes that affect the way your genes work. Epigenetics is essentially the environmental regulation of gene expression. Epigenetic changes in childhood may affect which genes are expressed in adulthood. Most importantly, epigenetic changes which happen in one generation can be passed down through numerous future generations.